Beneath the Surface, a Family's Hidden Betrayal. Hello, and welcome to Life Tells Stories, your go-to channel for powerful real-life narratives that lift the veil on hidden truths and emotional journeys. Our mission is to bring you immersive accounts that draw you into the complexities of everyday life, revealing what lies beneath the polished exteriors we so often encounter. Let me begin by asking you a direct question. Have you ever sensed an unspoken tension within your own family? Something that made you suspect a deeper plot or hidden motives behind certain words or actions? Sometimes, a single ominous sign can set your instincts ablaze, compelling you to investigate your loved one's behavior more closely. If that resonates with you, stick around, because today's story will open a window into a family rift so unsettling and raw that it culminated in a fateful decision: calling the police on a beloved family member. Before diving into the details, do me a quick favor. Subscribe to Life Tells Stories and turn on your notifications so you'll always be the first to know when we publish new eye-opening content. If this story intrigues you or you feel it might help someone you know, hit the like button and share it with friends. By doing so, you're helping us spread insights and support to those who may need it most. Now, let's follow the riveting journey of Alicia, Daniel, Lily, and Nancy. Four family members caught up in an emotional storm of lies, manipulation, and ultimate resilience. This account is a testament to how quickly the illusion of stability can be shattered by betrayal, and how an unwavering mother's love can illuminate even the darkest roads. At first glance, Alicia's life appeared delightfully serene. Over the past several years, she had put her heart and soul into building a small chain of beauty salons called Alicia's Glow, which had grown from a modest single storefront into 3 flourishing locations, each carefully styled to evoke comfort and luxury for a loyal clientele. Beyond her professional sphere, Alicia lived in a picturesque colonial-style home in an affluent neighborhood. She often awakened to a chorus of birds and the soft morning sun peeking through the tall maple trees in her yard. This sense of order and calm carried over into her family life, or so it seemed. Her husband, Daniel, was an investment advisor at a reputable firm, recognized for his meticulous, detail-oriented nature. He was the kind of man who would never leave the house with a wrinkled shirt or an ill-fitted tie. Their daughter, Lily, had just turned 10 and brought immeasurable joy to the household. She was inquisitive, bright, and loved spending time at her mother's salons, watching the stylists transform clients' looks. Daniel's mother, Nancy, was a retired high school teacher from a wealthy background, always dressed in impeccable designer clothing that complemented her silver gray hair. Nancy's manner was polite in public, yet often icy in private, revealing the deep-seated belief that Alicia's place should be in the home, not running a successful business. From the outside, the family's life glimmered with success and unity, but subtle cracks began to appear. Nancy's disapproval of Alicia's professional pursuits was a constant, unspoken tension, and Alicia often found herself carefully managing each interaction to keep Nancy at bay. Little did Alicia know that these undercurrents of dissatisfaction would soon morph into a sinister plan. As Lily's 10th birthday approached, Alicia decided to host a festive backyard party. Their spacious lawn provided the perfect setting. Bright pastel balloons swayed in the gentle summer breeze, tables overflowed with dishes prepared by neighbors and friends, and children raced around playing freeze tag and giggling. Music hummed in the background, adding to the air of celebration. Nancy, however, arrived fashionably late. Even from a distance, her elegant designer suit and perfectly coiffed hair stood out. She carried a glossy shopping bag from a high-end boutique, a bag that caught everyone's eye. When Nancy reached Lily, she ceremoniously handed over a slender box wrapped with a ribbon so refined that the other children gazed in silent awe. Upon unboxing the present, Lily discovered a pink gold watch studded with tiny diamonds that sparkled like scattered stardust. There was a collective gasp from the adults. On one hand, it was undeniably stunning. On the other, it felt strangely opulent for a 10-year-old. Alicia's breath hitched. A strange tension seemed to ripple through the crowd. Lily's face immediately turned somber. Instead of lighting up with gratitude, she took a small step back and shook her head. "I don't want to wear it," she said in a trembling voice. Her refusal jolted those watching. Nancy's expression froze for a heartbeat, as though she had expected rejection, while Daniel hurried to coax Lily into accepting the lavish gift. But Lily refused, standing her ground in a way Alicia had rarely witnessed. In that surreal moment, Alicia felt a twinge of fear. Why was her usually polite daughter rebuffing such a generous gift? And why did Nancy look both surprised and curiously unruffled? If Alicia had paid closer attention to Nancy's almost imperceptible smile, she might have guessed something far more disturbing lay hidden beneath the watch's sparkling surface. After the party, the sense of unease lingered. Lily stored the watch in a corner of her bedroom, refusing to remove it from its plush velvet box. Each time Alicia saw it, an unspoken question rose in her mind. What had prompted Lily's dramatic reaction? Whenever Alicia tried to discuss the incident with Lily, her daughter would either deflect with an unconvincing, "I'm just not ready to wear it," or offer halting explanations that trailed off into silence. Alicia noticed Lily growing more guarded day by day, as though she were harboring a secret she couldn't bring herself to share. One evening, Alicia finished reviewing her salon's monthly financial statements and joined Lily in her room. The soft glow of Lily's reading lamp cast long shadows on the walls. Lily, hunched over her math homework, barely looked up when Alicia took a seat beside her. "Sweetheart, I need to understand. Why won't you try on that wash Grandma gave you?" Alicia asked gently, resting a hand on Lily's shoulder. Lily hesitated, pressing her pencil against the page so hard the tip snapped. "Mom, trust me, it's better if I don't. I just don't want it. If you ever wear it, maybe you'll see what I mean," she said quietly. A strange shiver ran down Alicia's spine. There was a definite urgency in Lily's words, as if she knew something but couldn't voice it. Alicia pressed for more details, but Lily withdrew into uneasy silence, returning her gaze to the math book. The unspoken tension between them was almost palpable. That night, as Alicia attempted to fall asleep next to Daniel, who drifted off quickly after another strenuous day at work, her mind continued to replay Lily's words like a broken record. Alicia had no inkling of the explosive truth she was about to stumble upon. In the dead of night, Alicia found herself wide awake, an unsettling feeling gnawing at her. She glanced at Daniel, fast asleep, then gently slipped out of bed and padded across the hallway to Lily's room. Under the faint moonlight spilling through the window, she grabbed the watch box. Once in the kitchen, Alicia used her phone's flashlight to scrutinize the back of the watch. Its pink gold exterior gleamed with the promise of extravagance, yet something about it seemed off. She noticed a tiny indentation on the casing, a seam that shouldn't have been there. Heart pounding, she wedged her fingernail into the groove, and to her shock, the watch's back panel popped open far too easily for a high-quality luxury item. Inside lay a minuscule electronic device, thin wires, and a small circuit board that clearly did not belong to any conventional watch mechanism. Terror mounted in Alicia's chest as she realized what she was looking at, a hidden listening device. Why? Who would do this? She whispered to herself, though she already had a sinking suspicion. Her mother-in-law's watch. Her mother-in-law's unwavering disapproval of her independence. Could Nancy really have orchestrated this? By the time dawn crept through the windows, Alicia had made her decision. Still trembling, she dialed the local police station. Between ragged breaths, she explained what she'd discovered. Her urgency, entwined with fear, must have carried over the phone, because the dispatcher promised an immediate response. When two uniformed officers arrived in the early morning, Alicia felt both relieved and apprehensive. They spoke in hushed tones, carefully photographing the watch and retrieving the listening device for further investigation. To Alicia's surprise, Lily awoke during the commotion and silently observed the scene from the staircase. A flicker of relief crossed Lily's face when she locked eyes with Alicia, as though she were grateful her mother was finally shining a light on the truth. Daniel's reaction, however, was swift and defensive. Rather than showing concern for the family's violation of privacy, he demanded that the police wait for clarification. It must be a misunderstanding, he insisted, voice thick with desperation as he called Nancy. My mother would never do something like this. Why are we jumping to conclusions? He grew increasingly agitated, pacing the living room and urging the officers to stand down. Alicia studied Daniel with growing dread. Was he just blindly defending his mother, or did he know more than he cared to admit? The confident, polished facade he wore so naturally was cracking, revealing an undercurrent of panic. Even as the police left with evidence in hand, Alicia could feel the rift in her marriage widening, opening a chasm she feared might never close. In the days following the initial police report, the case moved with startling speed. The watch's listening device turned out to be a state-of-the-art bug, capable of transmitting crystal-clear audio to a secure, cloud-based server. The mere existence of such technology in a gift to a 10-year-old was enough to send chills down Alicia's spine. But worse was yet to come. Investigators uncovered that Daniel, far from the steadfast family man he presented himself to be, was juggling crippling debts from failed investments, high-risk gambling binges, and mounting personal loans. He had amassed these debts secretly, deceiving Alicia into believing their finances were stable. Adding to the betrayal, Daniel had engaged in a long-standing affair with one of his subordinates, a sharp and ambitious colleague named Felicia. Private messages between the two painted a picture of emotional intimacy and future planning, culminating in Daniel's hopes for a new life, presumably after divorcing Alicia. As the authorities dug deeper, their investigation began painting a disturbing picture. Daniel and Nancy appeared to be working in tandem. Their motive? To gather damaging information about Alicia's personal life and business dealings, leverage it during divorce proceedings, and secure financial control of Alicia's chain of salons. The wiretapping was meant to capture Alicia's private conversations, both at home and at her salons, to use as legal ammunition. Alicia read through the confiscated documents in horror. She recognized business spreadsheets, staff rosters, and future expansion plans for Alicia's Glow. Plans she'd only discussed within the safety of her home or in her office. The depth of the deception was monumental, and each new revelation cut deeper than the last. While Daniel's covert plans shocked Alicia, it was Nancy's complicity that left her reeling. Nancy, who prided herself on high social standing and intellectual rigor, had become the key player in the wiretapping scheme. Her elitist disapproval of Alicia's success fueled her willingness to engage in illegal activities. Police interviews revealed Nancy's belief that Alicia's entrepreneurial drive was out of step with the image she wanted for her son. She felt that Daniel's wife should rely on him financially and devote herself to the household, not overshadow him with her own thriving business empire. It was a mindset stuck in a bygone era, yet Nancy's fervor to uphold it had pushed her into a shocking act of betrayal. Nancy had insisted on the watch's lavish design to ensure Lily would love it and wear it often, whether at school, out with friends, or at her mother's salon offices. The more Lily wore the watch, the more extensive and damning the recorded conversations could be. This systematic targeting of a 10-year-old's innocence disgusted Alicia and infuriated the detectives handling the case. What struck Alicia the most was Nancy's repeated stance that Alicia was unworthy of her son's social stature. Nancy had cloaked this notion in polite remarks for years, but it was now clear that her disapproval ran so deep she was willing to break the law. Nancy had effectively weaponized her granddaughter to undermine Alicia's business and marital status. Amid these bombshell revelations, Alicia found herself caught between rage and heartbreak. The sheer cruelty of using Lily as a pawn tore at her every maternal instinct. Yet through the turmoil, Alicia noticed something profound. Lily, the same child who sensed something was wrong with the watch, exhibited a commendable courage. On many nights, Alicia would sit with Lily before bedtime, answering the child's questions as best she could without overwhelming her. Lily admitted that her grandmother had begun asking her strange, probing questions about Alicia's salon, the types of clients she served, the new location she considered, and the sort of conversations Alicia had with her employees. Although Lily couldn't articulate the threat precisely, her instincts warned her that Nancy's sudden interest was off-putting and unnatural. "That's why I refused the watch, Mom," Lily confessed one evening, her voice quivering. "I felt like Grandma wanted me to do something wrong, something that didn't feel right. I was scared." Alicia pulled her daughter into a tight embrace, reassuring her that her intuition was correct and that she was safe now. Meanwhile, Alicia had to grapple with her own emotional battle. How could she have been so blind to the gaping issues in her marriage and the underhanded intentions of her mother-in-law? Guilt weighed heavily on her, but the fierce love she had for Lily propelled her forward. "Now, I want to hear from you. If you discovered a loved one had used your child as an unwitting accomplice in a plot against you, how do you think you would handle it? Share your thoughts, experiences, or advice below. Your insights might provide solace and guidance for others facing hidden betrayals in their own families." As evidence mounted against Daniel and Nancy, the authorities wasted no time. Daniel was formally arrested for illegal wiretapping, fraud, and conspiracy. The once poised, suited professional was escorted out of the family home in handcuffs, his face pale and drenched with sweat. His investment firm promptly fired him, severing any final ties to the stable career he had once touted. Nancy was also arrested as an accomplice, facing charges of conspiracy and invasion of privacy. Though she secured bail, the social circles she once ruled with an iron fist ostracized her. No one at her church events or elegant tea gatherings wanted to be associated with a scandal so salacious and morally abhorrent. For Alicia, the next steps were unequivocal. She filed for divorce and sought full custody of Lily. She hired a high-profile attorney well-versed in cases of financial sabotage and emotional abuse, determined to ensure that neither Daniel nor Nancy could cast another shadow over Lily's life. The courts, moved by the gravity of the evidence, swiftly ruled in Alicia's favor. Daniel was left drowning in debts and legal repercussions, while Nancy's once pristine reputation lay in tatters. Surprisingly, Alicia's business thrived despite the media exposure of the scandal. Clients rallied around her, praising her fortitude. Colleagues and staff members, many of whom adored Lily, showed renewed commitment. Alicia opened her fourth salon location on schedule, transforming the adversity into a powerful public narrative of resilience. Local publications hailed Alicia as a role model for women entrepreneurs, someone who refused to be diminished, even when faced with the betrayal of those closest to her. With the legal battles nearly behind them, Alicia and Lily embraced a path of healing and self-discovery. They moved to a modest but welcoming home, graced by a young maple tree in the front yard. Unlike the grand colonial house brimming with the memories of distrust, this new space signaled a fresh beginning. Lily, once weighed down by confusion, returned to her cheerful self. She resumed piano lessons, joined a dance class, and even made new friends in the neighborhood. Therapy sessions helped her process the complex emotions surrounding her father's betrayal and her grandmother's cunning. Over time, the nightmares and apprehensions began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of confidence and optimism. Alicia, too, found a renewed sense of purpose. Freed from Daniel's hidden debts and emotional manipulation, she focused on fostering deeper relationships with her staff and clients. She channeled the lessons she had learned into thoughtful expansions at Alicia's Glow, updating training programs to emphasize teamwork and integrity. She also collaborated with local women's organizations, sharing her story as a beacon of hope for those who felt trapped in deceitful or disempowering circumstances. What remained strongest was the unbreakable bond between mother and daughter. Each morning, as they prepared for their day in the sunlit kitchen, Alicia would watch Lily gather her schoolbooks with that spark of joy in her eyes. Every night, the two would end the day by talking about their highs and lows, forging a closeness that was unshakable. They had weathered a storm of betrayal and emerged with clarity and strength. Stories like Alicia and Lily's prove how quickly a seemingly stable life can unravel under the weight of deception. Yet, they also illuminate the undeniable power of a mother's intuition and the transformative effect of standing up for the truth. Betrayal can arrive from the people closest to us, but as Alicia's experience shows, resilience, self-belief, and love can guide us through the darkest of times. If you found strength or insight in this narrative, I encourage you once again to subscribe to Life Tells Stories. We specialize in unveiling real-life sagas that resonate with those seeking to better understand themselves and the world around them. Also, don't forget to like this video if it helped you or if you believe it can help someone you know. Your simple act of engaging, liking, subscribing, sharing, assists us in reaching more individuals who might be longing for a supportive community or a glimmer of hope. Thank you for accompanying me on this intense, emotional exploration of familial bonds, hidden motives, and unyielding resolve. Let this story serve as a reminder that even when your world seems to be crumbling, your courage and commitment to what's right can light the way. Until next time, take care of yourself and your loved ones, and always remember, your story, your resilience, and your voice have the power to change lives, starting with your own.